you're like, wow, that's great.
I heard
but it's
it.
not.
Yes. I hear that all the time, and my smile just gets wider when I hear that because I barely can hold myself to tell them, well, you can get 8% here. 3, 2, 1, 2.
Hi, thanks for joining. Today we have Alfonso Rodriguez, account manager at Kapital Bank, and he's going to break down for us everyday banking and investing for foreigners here in Merida. Alfonso, I'm so excited for you to be here. This is our very first podcast, and I think it's perfect that you are our first guest.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Leanne. Thank you very much for having me. I'm very much looking forward to share what it is to have an account and all the financial products that come with it for the foreigners that are looking for that information. I think it's really good to get it out there for all of them.
Yes, it is. So let's dive right in. Can you tell us a bit about yourself?
Of course. My name is Alfonso Rodriguez. I'm 35 years old, and I've been working at the same institution for almost 12 years now. So I pretty much know everything that is to know in regards of setting up an account and these financial products for foreigners. I actually have specialized in the foreigner community pretty much since the get-go. I think I understand quite well the needs of that specific market, the needs of the people, and it was just really a great match for me as a person with the portfolio of products that we have with this clientele or potential clientele.
Perfect. And I'm sure over these years you've seen the clientele grow as more and more foreigners come to Merida.
Exactly, yes. There's no secret in Merida, the real estate boom is not really slowing down.
No.
And Merida happens to be just a great location for foreigners to have a second place or a completely move because, well, we are close to the States and close to Canada. Lots of people are willing to try at least speak the language to make it easier for foreigners, make it welcoming for foreigners.
Yes,
so, even at the grocery stores or in the mall, whatever, people will try their best to communicate with you.
Yes.
And of course, we cannot let aside the fact that Merida is quite safe, which is a detriment for a lot of people that are considering Mexico as a potential place to go to live. And Merida has none of that. We're close to the beach and we have everything that a major city can hope for, just in a smaller scale, right? So if you can put up with the heat, you'll be very happy in Merida.
Fine. When it gets too hot, you go to the beach.
Exactly.
So can you tell us a bit about Kapital Bank and why should a foreigner choose Kapital Bank over the other big banks here in Mexico?
Of course. I'm very glad you brought this question because I think it's an excellent moment to address the elephant in the room. A lot of people know that what is now today Kapital Bank used to be Intercam Banco. Intercam Banco was very well placed in the community as the bank to go as a foreigner to open an account. There was a political situation that happened in the middle of last year that pushes on the direction of a merger with Kapital. So we are now one and the same.
Right.
Kapital Bank and Intercam are one and the same. This was great because it pretty much brings the best of two worlds. We have a very technology, cutting edge orientated bank as Kapital and a bank that is really, really focused on that personal attention with their clients and their financial needs, more focusedly on accounts and international wire transfers going in and out for our clients.
Okay, perfect.
Also, after the merger, Kapital has reached financial strength never seen before by a Latin American financial institution. We actually were labeled the first Latin America financial unicorn. That is a privately owned company worth over $1 billion.
Wow.
We're actually worth $1.35 billion.
Wow.
They made a huge deal in Wall Street. We were in the front page of the Wall Street Journal. It was great. Kapital is a Mexican bank, 100% Mexican bank, Mexican CEOs. But behind us, backing us up, are several venture capital funds from the United States. Chief among them is Y Combinator, which are huge. Alongside their alumni are companies like DoorDash, Coinbase, Twitch, and several others, technology-oriented companies. And they don't mess around. They are betting on the winner, and I believe Kapital is gonna take the financial world by storm, and we are very, very happy to be part of that.
That's very comforting to know that you have these venture capitalists backing the funds in the bank, and that the bank is huge. You said it's the largest in all of Latin America financially in terms of value.
Privately owned. That is what
Owned.
makes it a unicorn. There are, of course, public companies that they have a whole lot of money, right? But being privately owned and being worth over $1.3 billion is really something, especially in the financial sector.
And why is Kapital Bank one of the few banks that allows foreigners to open an account?
I believe that's that intercam DNA I just mentioned. Because if one bank can, that means everybody legally can
do it.
now.
Yes.
That doesn't mean that everybody's willing, right? But we understand, we embrace, and we love this clientele, and we have made our processes adapt to their needs. So in Kapital, you can open your account regardless if you're a resident or just a tourist. And that's just something that you won't find in other financial institutions. And we are willing to bet on you because we know that it's a good service for you and you'll be happy.
And what makes the process more accessible for foreigners?
The process, what it makes it more accessible, in my opinion, is the personal relationship that you can have with your executive. In this case, for example, in my case, I like to be in full communication with my clients. My clients typically have my personal WhatsApp. I typically respond really fast to the emails. And that way I can guide them very efficiently to get the job done, to get the account open in this case. So I think having this personal approach is what sets us apart and make it the best place, make it easier for a foreigner to have an account.
Yes, and we've had that experience. We weren't even in Mexico when we opened our account.
That's true.
Yeah, I think you purulated the documents to us. You couriered it, we got it, signed it, sent it back, done.
Exactly.
It was very easy.
Yeah, it was great. We had great communication. We shared some documents online. We had a few phone calls. And like you said, we sent the document, you signed them, and you had an account waiting for you when you came to Mexico.
Yeah. And now what type of bank accounts can foreigners open?
All right. The type of bank accounts, it's pretty much one. And that's regardless if you're a foreigner, Mexican, or resident or tourist. It's one. That's our main checking account. And this comes with a bunch of benefits typical of a checking account, including a debit card that you can use in Mexico or abroad, ATMs and whatnot to purchase goods or services, online, everything. The account itself, and the possibility to open certified deposits, which I believe we're going to get into those in a moment, investments. Okay. And the account itself doesn't have, at least at the moment, any cost to it. It's just, we just recommend to keep a minimum balance of roughly 10,000 pesos on the account. And that's it. There is no yearly fee, monthly fee, or anything like that.
Okay. And what documents do foreigners need to open an account?
All right. That will depend on their status in the country. Basically, if you're a resident, we'll need your residency card, proof of address of your home in Mexico. It doesn't have to be in your name, which is one of the biggest things. Most banks will need you to have a proof of address, electric bill, water bill, whatever, under your name. That is not our case. As long as it's the name of an individual, maybe the previous owner of the house, or maybe your spouse, whatever, that's good enough for us to open the account. So the residency card, the proof of address, and just having an interview with a account executive, hopefully me, right? But you can do that remotely, you can do that over the phone, or you can come to the branch where we'll be more than happy to welcome you.
Okay, and how long does the process take from start to finish to open an account?
Correct. Once we have everything, meaning all the documents, all the information, the process usually takes about 24 hours because we do have an independent department that reviews all the documentation, make sure they're valid, up to date, and reviews our applications. And once they consider everything meets the requirements, the account is released.
Okay. Now, one thing that I found really interesting and that I loved was the interest on deposits.
Right.
So can you talk a bit about that and explain how foreigners can get interest and what the interest rates are?
Exactly. Thank you for asking. There are several instruments, right? But the easiest is the one that comes available with your checking account, which is the certified deposit, also known as CD. This is pretty much you set aside an amount of money for an X period of time. It can be anywhere from 1 month to 12 months, right? Depending on how much and how long you invest, the tier of interest that you will receive, typically the longer you invest, the more you invest, the higher the return will be, right? It's just very important to know that these instruments, once you open them, which you can do through your online banking, mobile banking, or through your account executive, once they're open, that's it. We cannot access those funds early, not even by paying a penalty. We can just only wait for it to reach its maturity, and then the funds are returned to your account plus the interest. We also have a parallel product, also part of your checking account, where the interests are not deposited at the end of the maturity period, rather are paid to you monthly, okay? The returns are slightly lower because, of course, you're getting liquidity, you're getting money available in your checking account, but that's great. So you have pretty much give yourself like an allowance. Yeah. So you have cash to spare and your money is making some nice interest for you. And on top of that, this money is insured, right? Just like in the United States, they have the FDIC. In Mexico, we have the IPAB, Instituto de Protección al Ahorro Bancario. Okay. It's pretty much an insurance for the money on your checking account and in this type of investments, okay? These are really great for clients that are looking for next to no risk. These are pretty much risk-free. They are guaranteed, you know in advance how much you will be paying, how much you will be receiving, and when the maturity date is gonna be, and then the money is insured.
Okay, that's great. I think this product, the one that pays the interest monthly, would be perfect for retirees who have all their money in their home and they sell that, they can invest it and live here off of the interest that they make on that.
Exactly, you're exactly right. A lot of clients do this, and it's really a great seller. People, when they hear about these returns, I see it for 12 years, how their eyes just light up. Because you're right, the house market in the US is pretty big right now, so people sell their property there. Yes. They bring it down here. They can buy a beautiful beachfront property and then pretty much have their money ready to work for them in this type of instruments, getting like you said, like a monthly income, so they can use for the living expenses.
And what are those interest rates?
All right, they range, like I said earlier, from depending on the amount and the time period. But at the moment, the highest available is 8% on the base rate. 8% yearly return, that is before taxes, of course. And these can be negotiated, especially when there is like a new influx of cash. Say if you're a new client, you talk to me and I can leverage the fact that you're bringing funds to us in order to maybe scratch a slightly bit more for you to get a nice start with these high returns.
It's mind-blowing that you can get 8%. Obviously, you have to have like a certain amount deposited, right?
Well, these returns start in around 100,000 pesos, which is roughly, like $6,000 or something like that?
Yes, a little under 10,000 Canadian dollars.
Oh, sorry, yes, a little under 10,000 Canadian. Or 6,000 American, give or take, and you'll be eligible for these returns. Of course, if you do 3 months, then it may not be 8, it may be 7.3.
Which is still fantastic.
Which is still pretty great.
I mean, some banks in Canada, if they give you 2%, 2.5%, then you're like, wow, that's great. But it's not.
Yes. I hear that all the time, and my smile just gets wider when I hear that, because I barely can hold myself to tell them, well, you can get 8% here, and just by having money in the account.
Yeah.
And yes, of course, the beauty of this is that you get these 3 to 4 times more returns in a country that, well, is Mexico, right? Is the major partner of the US. It's a great partner with Canada. We have they're going to renegotiate it, but we have the free trade agreement. NAFTA. So we are like the three musketeers, right? Like the three amigos. We are really close to each other. Therefore, there's not that much risk, and the returns pretty much outweigh that.
Yes, I agree. Now, how easy is it to move money from abroad into your Kapital Bank account?
It's extremely easy. The only thing is you need to do an international wire transfer. That's it. We, at the moment, have one correspondent bank account functioning, which is in London, England. We are working, very hardly working on getting one on the United States and one in Canada, so our clients from those countries can do domestic wires to our correspondent bank accounts, our new correspondent bank account. The one currently working in the UK is Barclays, pretty big.
Which is a huge bank.
It is huge.
Yes.
And it really works like a charm. Don't ask me how, because I know it's nighttime by the time we're doing business today, but the wires arrive the same day in most cases. I'm required to tell my clients it can be 24 to 48 hours, but in real practice, they really arrive quite fast. So the way it works is as follows. I, or your account executive, will share these wire transfer instructions, okay? And these invite you to, or instruct to send a wire to an account that is under our name, okay? The account it's under Kapital Bank name, okay? At Barclays. So pretty much you're sending money to an institution, Kapital Bank, at Barclays, with our account number, Barclays Swift code, all that stuff. Now, as you may imagine, this account receives hundreds of wires every day, from all of our clients all over the country. So that's a lot. So we need to identify which wire belongs to whom and who to pay it to, right? So we ask our clients to please put their name and reference is a number that we will provide, number unique to you.
Right.
To put it on the section that is typically reserved for notes or memo. Instead of putting anything like Merida living expenses or Mexico investments, instead of putting anything like that, at least when we identify your wire, we need to have your reference and your name. Once the funds are in Barclays and we identify them, the executive will contact you and say, hey, Leanne, we have located your wire transfer, say whatever amount, 1,000 Canadian dollars, 5,000, all the way to whatever. There's no limit, right?
Right.
And then they'll ask you if you want to exchange at that moment or if you want to wait. One of the benefits on Kapital is the flexibility that the clients get to choose themselves the moment of the exchange.
Okay.
Because we don't really know what the exchange actually is going to do. We can identify trends and have very good estimates, but that's as far as it gets, estimates. So I lay those estimates or those ideas for you, but the decision ultimately is yours. We don't exchange a single dollar until the client expressly authorizes, and that gives control over the client. Rather than just sending the wire directly, hope for a better rate, and not really knowing until after the fact, until after the funds gets here, in another institution, they're already in pesos, and there's nothing you can really do after that because it's already been exchanged. We don't do that. We hold it and we wait for you to authorize the exchange.
It's good that your clients have that power over their money. So if I understand correctly, if I were to do a transfer from my bank account in Canada to my bank account here in Merida with Kapital Bank, I will do the transfer. It'll go to Barclays.
Correct.
And it sits there until I say, you know what, Alfonso, today the rate seems to be good. Let's transfer it from Barclays to Kapital, from England to Merida.
In reality, it doesn't go from Barclays to Merida. Let's say you already sent the transfer. That's your end of the bargain. You already did the part. Now, in order for me to pay you as fast as possible, we take money out of our own accounts here in Mexico to deposit the equivalent of whatever you deposit there times the exchange rate that you authorize. But yeah, that's essentially how it works. You send it to Barclays, you authorize me, and after you authorize me, the pesos clears within the hour. Okay. Now, I would like to address some points here that I believe that are fairly important. When the sender is the client themselves or their spouse, for example, that's it. I don't need anything else. It's very clear that they are transferring money to themselves, and I don't need anything other than maybe the bank confirmation, the bank receipt issued by the sender institution.
Right.
But if at some point in time, a third party is the one sending you funds, which we see this mostly when maybe their brokerage liquidates some assets and bring them down here because the investments are so much better. This typically constitutes a third party transfer, and we take money laundering prevention very seriously, and we need to document the relationship between sender and recipient, okay? When it's something as clear as your brokerage, then maybe a statement with them as your brokerage or an agreement, or maybe you sold the property and you want the buyer to pay you directly here. then the sale agreement, something that justifies why X person is sending money to you, right? Okay. And there's another thing that I would really like to get out there, especially for Canadians. Over the years, we have seen how Canadian banks are, let's say, a little bit more square when it comes to do the transfers. And they are not a fan of letting you do this type of international transfers remotely. Typically, the client will have to be at the branch. Mind you, we receive transfers from all the banks, RBC, CIBC, National Bank of Canada, all of them, and even smaller banks, credit union type things. Okay. No problem. The only thing is that the client typically has to be there. We still haven't found a Canadian bank that will let the client do the transfer as they see fit online. So if you're planning to come to Mexico, or you need to have the ability to send money back and forth on a dime, my recommendation will be either to approach your bank and say, hey, is there a way that we can pre-authorize this to happen when we need it? Or in some cases, people have found that the simplest thing is to add somebody that they really trust, maybe a sibling, maybe a son or daughter, maybe a parent, to add them into their account as a co-signer, somebody that has access to that account, so they can do the transfer for them whenever they need it. So that's pretty important to keep in mind, just with Canada, unfortunately.
And I'm sure it's just a matter of time before the Canadian banks say, hey, wait a minute, maybe we should make it more easy for clients to send money abroad when they're not in the country.
Hopefully, fingers crossed.
What other services does Kapital Bank offer?
Oh, thank you for asking. Yes, Kapital Bank, well, after the merger with Intercam, Kapital is now legally what we call in Mexico a financial group, meaning we are more than a bank. We are a brokerage of insurance. We have like a regular brokerage for investments, more sophisticated investment instruments, and the Fideicomisos. I want to focus on those three because I think those three services are the ones that really, really appeal for the foreigner community. So first, we have our brokerage that offers more sophisticated investment instruments that go beyond the certified deposit I spoke earlier. As we remember, the certified deposit is insured, while these instruments technically or legally are not insured per se, but they are extremely safe because they are the equivalent of like treasury bills or government debt, stuff like that, right? They are through an independent contract with Capital Casa de Bolsa, so we will have to open a separate agreement in order to access these instruments. And we have a specialist that will take care of that for you. They will walk alongside you, guide you through this process and through these instruments. And they can go as basic as government debt, all the way to the more complex renewable energies, you name it, AI or whatever. You can get like specific stocks for companies, everything that you could possibly want, which is a little bit more sophisticated than the bank CD, you can get it through our Casa de Bolsa. That's one. Another one that I think is super important and experts would really like is the insurances. The insurance are really, really cheap. I want to start with that. Compared to what you guys are used to pay back in the States or Canada, you'll find that insurance are really accessible here, and you get a lot of really nice coverages, especially us in the Yucatan. Homeowners insurance is really great, and it includes, you can add they call it the policy or the coverage for like hurricane and what we also call outdoor assets such as solar panels and that kind of stuff. And they are really great. You can both insure the actual building and their contents, or just the contents, or a combination that suits you best. Insurance are really customizable. And the way we accomplish this is through being a brokerage of insurance, meaning we work with the top 15 insurance companies in the country. So regardless the type of insurance the client needs, maybe car insurance, maybe homeowners insurance, maybe pet insurance, chances are we can get you a pretty great deal with the company that does the best type of insurance on that front, right? And so maybe you want car and homeowners insurance, probably you'll be better off with a company getting you for car insurance and another company for homeowners, because they offer the best coverages at the most accessible price with all the best coverages, right? So we'll do all that for you, no strings attached. present the policies to you. And if they don't align with your interests, you decide to check it somewhere else. No hard feelings, no strings attached. Thank you very much. And we'll try to do better next time, no problem.
Okay.
And lastly, fideicomisos. Fideicomisos.
Fideicomisos. Fideicomisos.
Correct.
Okay, what is that?
What is that? Fideicomisos, the literal translation is trust. But the way we use it, or the way why it's important for foreigners, is because the fideicomiso is an instrument that is necessary for foreigners to own property within 100 kilometers of the border or 50 kilometers of the water.
Okay.
So that, at least for Yucatan, that is the whole thing, right?
Yes.
Also for north or cities that are close to the water, that means that you cannot directly own the property. It has to be done through a fideicomiso. A fideicomiso is basically when a trustee, the bank, is what owns the property legally, but you as the beneficiary or recipient of this trust are the one that has full control, access, or you can do whatever you want with that house, including selling it, living it, whatever, right? Do business, whatever, right? Yeah. This is very important to have, and this is one of the things that takes the longest. So don't freak out if you are doing your fideicomiso and it's already been a few weeks and it doesn't seem to be moving, because unfortunately it involves a lot of government departments and agencies, and those typically take forever, right?
Yes.
So those are the three most important things, of course, on top of the checking account and international wire transfers, that you could definitely check out when you approach Kapital Bank, right? The insurances, the sophisticated investment instruments, and the fideicomisos, and we can assist you with all of that. We'll have specialized people who speaks English that will walk you through the process, no sweat.
And how long does the fideicomisos process take, typically?
Typically, if we have completely and 100% correct the document, which is not always the case, because they are very, very, what's the word I'm looking for? The details are very, very important. And unfortunately, this is the case where literally a comma will send the documents back and have to be resent after a correction. We could be looking at 1 month will be a very good time. Okay. But it's more close to month and a half, 2 months, depending. Okay?
Okay. If it's not around Christmas.
If it's not around Christmas, for sure. For sure. You know us Mexicans, we like our holidays. Yes.
If you're enjoying this conversation, don't forget to like and subscribe. It helps my channel grow and keeps these conversations coming. So Alfonso, what are some of the common banking mistakes you see foreigners make when they first move to Mexico?
Okay. Yes, when people first move to Mexico, one of the most common mistakes that we see is that people can get misled sometimes by comments in social media. Social media is more a place where people pour their feelings into and not a serious source of information.
Right.
I recommend that people who are serious about moving to Mexico and having a bank account in Mexico search legit and serious sources of information. For example, this podcast, right?
Yes.
They have very good information, or they can even ask us or ask me directly and make their own opinion, right? So I would say not to be too harsh. Take your time to do the research, because your bank is going to be your partner from your next stage of your life. Yes. And it's worth the time to search places such as this to get legit information.
Thank you.
Yes, of course.
And what advice would you give to someone who's planning to move to Merida and want to set up their finances properly?
Exactly. Well, one of the biggest things that we recommend is do it with time. Typically, in my experience, the last thing people do is set up the account. They come to Merida, they fall in love with the city, they found a beautiful house, happen to be on sale, there's a great deal, the broker is ready, they are ready to buy it, and they don't have the account. And then everybody gets very eager, very pushy to get the deal done, the broker, the seller. You want to buy the property, and then you left the account for the last part. So if you are serious about coming to Mexico, might as well consider putting the bank a little bit higher on your to-do list, because that typically takes a little bit longer than falling in love with a house, of course. Yes. And it will be the perfect tool to accomplish that or any other goal you may have in Mexico. Worst case scenario, you end up with an account that can give you 3 to 4 times more returns on investments, and there is no cost to it. So there's really nothing to lose by getting ahead of the curve, getting ahead of time, and preparing the account.
So there are 2 things I want to mention. One, there's no banking fees.
That is correct. At least at the moment of this video being recorded, this podcast being recorded, there is no operational fees, no banking fees, no monthly fees, nothing like that. We just recommend to keep a minimum balance on the account, and that's the only thing we ask.
Perfect. Second thing I want to mention is for anyone who's thinking about moving to Merida, before you come and fall in love with that house and then buy it and then realize you have no bank account, you can open the bank account before you even come to Merida. That's what we did. We opened the account last year. We had never even been to Merida when we had opened the account, which was fantastic.
Yes, as we discussed earlier, we have adapted procedures to meet your necessities or fit to their process, right? Because you are going through a stressful process of moving to Mexico, maybe permanently, maybe just part-time, but it's stressful, and we want to make it banking as easy for you as possible. So yeah, if we can get most of the account opening process done remotely, and then when you get here, you just get your debit card and your online banking, we will take care of that for you.
Yes, it was, when I think back to it, I don't remember much of the process because it was like just at the back of my mind. Everything was just done for me. It felt as if I wasn't involved, even though it's a big deal, opening a bank account.
Yes, we make it very easy. It's just a list of documents, some questions, and that's pretty much all I need to get the ball rolling. And then we do require you to be here for certain things, for example, getting the debit card, the online banking, all that stuff. But that's just pretty much gravy. The main thing, we take care of that in advance for you. Okay.
So Alfonso, if someone watching wants to open an account with Kapital Bank, what would be the next best first step for them?
Of course. Well, the first step will be to contact me. There's several ways you can contact me, and hopefully Lian will put them on the screen.
Yes, they are on the screen.
Excellent. But the first thing, email. My email is arodriguez@capital.com. You can also reach out to me via WhatsApp. Here's my number. It's my personal WhatsApp. So you send me a message and I'll be more than happy to get back to you. And also, we are physically located very conveniently for all the foreigners because we're very close to Centro, barely 100 meters north of the very, very big roundabout that you see in all the Merida postcards, right on the main street. And I'm there 5 days a week, Monday to Friday. Typically, I'm available for appointments from 10:30 in the morning until 2:30 in the afternoon. If you're in town and you're just curious and you just want to see and you want to get first-hand information, by all means, call me, set up an appointment, and I'll be more than happy to personally meet you. When you get there, just ask for me by name, and I'll be running down to meet you.
So again, Alfonso's information is on the screen. It's also in the details below. And if anyone watching has any questions, feel free to write them in the comments and maybe we'll tackle them next time.
Excellent.
We have you on the podcast. So Alfonso is our guy at Kapital Bank. He's the only person we reached out to when we wanted to open a bank account, our only bank account here in Merida. We are very happy with his services. His office is right downtown. It's super convenient, and he's made banking really easy for us. And he's like, with Kapital Bank, our money is working for us instead of the other way around, which is everybody's dream.
Yes, it is. Thank you very much for your kind words. Really, it's been a pleasure also to assist you, and looking forward to continue to do so, yes, and to assist anybody who might be interested in having an account in Mexico for whatever the goals may be.
Perfect. Alfonso, thank you so much. Thank you for being on my very first podcast. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you, Lian. It's been amazing, and looking forward to see this podcast grow because I know people are going to love what you have to say.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and give this video a like. Your support is truly appreciated.